What's up? What's up? What's up? To make sure all my microphone is on good and all that good stuff. Where's my? Oh, hold on a second, guys. I think we can. I think this thing is picking me up pretty good, but I still want to be sure that I'm not going through this microphone and not the other one because sometimes I'll be going through the other mic. No, I think it's this mic right here. Okay, cool. Yeah. All right. The other day it was going through my other microphone or whatever. So anyway, let me go ahead and put my music at an acceptable level here. Okay. And so guys, what we're going to be doing today is we're just going to be talking about I'm going to practice drawing in different styles. I know what it feels like to be a caricature artist and you're drawing and your drawings just kind of all look the same, like just this person staying with a blank stare at the camera, right? So here that we're going to kind of I'm going to kind of work with that today and see what I can come up with. Oh, by the way, guys, if you like to, oh, I forgot to tell you, if y'all like to play piano, I just started this channel right here too, called Learn Together Piano Tutorials. You can check it out. It's like me showing you all the little things. It's kind of like how I teach art. I use art to teach you how to play piano. So you can check it out. I just started it. I think it's pretty interesting, but I'm just going to show it to you real quick. So anyway, let's go ahead to my gallery here. We're going to do a little bit of warm-up exercises. Again, we're going to dive into the world of drawing faces, especially those exploring different styles and techniques. So I really kind of want to explain to you the brief importance of facial anatomy, what you need to know before we jump into any these different styles. We're going to kind of lay some groundwork. So understanding facial anatomy is super crucial for creating an accurate and expressive face. So regardless of what shape or style you choose, you still need to be aware of anatomy. So we're going to kind of just set the stage for the rest of this stream. With that, we'll cover essential features like the eyes. We're going to cover the nose. We're going to cover the mouth. And then we're going to cover how their proportions, right, and placement influence the overall look of the picture. Okay, so all of these things are going to be covered in this short little live stream, right? Okay. All right, and don't forget, guys, to share and invite people to the live. Man, thank you so much. Share and invite people. All right, so let me see. We're going to go with basic facial structure at first, okay? So basic facial structure, okay? So we're going to start with a real simple portrait. We'll begin by outlining the basic structure using simple shapes, and then we'll gradually just kind of build upon it, okay? Now, when you're drawing a caricature, you want to keep this super simple, okay? So let's just say we got this guy's face here, all right? Let's just keep it simple. We want to pick a head shape from our shape repertoire that's already in our head. A lot of the times I like to use, like this guy right here, I might use something like this. Okay, because it's relatively wide. I could have got away with making it wider than that, but you know what I'm saying, this is the idea of it. Okay, like something that's wide, okay, and then with a neck on it. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the placement of things. Okay, so here in the middle of your picture, usually at the widest point of my picture, or somewhere around there, I'll draw a line, and that line will be representative of my eyes. So I'm going to put two circles there just to represent that. In cartoon land, a lot of people have circle eyes, so we're just going to draw some circles right there. Okay. Hold on one sec. Oh, by the way, guys, give me a minute. Give me just a minute here. Here. Okay, hold on. East and put up here. Hold on. Okay, there we go. Okay. So we got the two eyes. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna put another shape here, okay? And that would be where the nose would go. So we'll just kind of look and say, okay, is his nose long or whatever, and compare to that line, and then we'll put our mouth line, which might be about right here, okay? So what I would do here is I put another shape here, like a let me see, like something squishy, like a he has like this kind of a nose here. So I just do like a roundish, bulbish nose, right? And then we'll go over here and we'll put his mouth shape. So his mouth shape is going to be somewhere in between here, like this, right? So here goes his lip, okay? And then we got your eyebrows that kind of go up here, okay? So you want to establish these, whatever these relationships are, with basic little features like these, okay? You don't want something that's going to be that you can't really understand, you know, how to draw. You get what I'm saying? So don't do it that way. With him, his eyes feel very square or penetrating or foundational. So you'll see here that I like to use like foundational shapes when I do that, right? Okay, let me put this down here, and then we go here. Hold on one sec, guys. Okay, and let me turn on my. Wait, where's my other? This monitor here. Oh wow. Okay, I guess it's just gone. Okay, cool. All right, I'll fix that one in another stream. Luckily, we have this here. All right. So anyway, once we get here, then we come around and we start putting features or hair on our picture, right? You see? Okay. So this would be a different style of drawing this picture. Notice that not really a lot of the shapes match like per capita, like with his shapes, right? It's just a general idea of him, and most of it is the wideness of his head shape, right? And then you know, the intensity of his eyes. You can see here I used a little bit of a angled shape, so that angled shape is going to give us a lot more intensity to the eye than we originally get. Okay. All right. So pretty much this is the anatomy of the face. This is what you'll see a lot of artists use before they draw a face. But the thing with this is that I doctored it up a little bit to use it in a way that's beneficial to me. So I like to think in terms of stop and start. So that's what I do. I use a shape. I draw a line for wherever my eyes are going to be. Start where they're going to begin, where my nose is going to end, where my mouth is going to begin, and then it ends underneath there. And this is usually just my space I leave in case I have a mustache, or some people have a lot of space. Like you'll notice here, he has a lot of space between his nose and his mouth. So that's something, if I wanted to just be like super exaggerated of, I could do like this. Okay, make the wide face and the chin and the neck here. But if I wanted to just really put his eyes way up here, right, and then do something like this, so this will be like the eyes up here, right? This will be like another version of him, the eyebrows, and then my eyes will be on this line here. So I might just do something like this. It doesn't even matter. I don't really think, I just go with what I think could look good. Now that might be another way I could do it, right? Then I want to make this super long nose, right? So his nose is super long, right? And let's say I put this one with nostrils. So you see it's a really basic shape at this point, okay? Once we have that really basic shape, then we drop down, right? So we'll have like a drop about like this, right? And then we'll drop it and we'll actually put an arrow here. Ooh, that's a cool thing. So let's drop that line, put an arrow, right? And then once we put that arrow, then we draw our top lip based off of the arrow. You get what I'm saying? And then we'll put our bottom lip. And then to make it funny, we can make it look like he really doesn't even have a chin. More like his lip is so far down there. You get what I'm saying? That he's able to not even have a chin, right? And so this will be where his mustache shape will go. And you can see that that is a very, very pivotal part of this character's face. Okay? So it's not about me, it's about learning how to move these three lines around in the face. Okay? Move them around in your mind to create different things. And even if you have to use your pencil when you do it, it's no real big deal. You get what I'm saying? You can do it that way. Okay? The key to this is just simplifying features, right? Simplifying features. All right? Make them simple so that you can put them at the levels they need to be at, and then at the size or whatever they need to be at. Okay, so let's go ahead and go through a few more pictures like this, and we're going to break down some different ways so that we can exaggerate. Okay, so we're going to exaggerate this guy again, but this way what we're going to do this time is we're going to push the exaggeration even further. Okay, so this is that one. Over here I'll draw a little bit smaller, but I believe you guys should still be able to see that. Don't forget, guys, tips are appreciated. If you guys are tippers, you can tip at Cash App $Rouserworld. And then you can also take classes with me at rouserworld.com/classes. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and I'll put that information up for you again if you missed it. All right. So let's go ahead here and we will add the head again. But this time what we're going to do, no, I'm going to need more. I'm going to need more space. This time what I'm going to do is I'm going to really smush the head down. Okay, that's the importance of having a shape that represents your head shape and not a shape that is actually the head shape. So here I can see he has high cheekbones. What I'm drawing is going to seem kind of contrary to the picture, but at the end I'm going to get a great result. Okay, and that's what you have to understand about this. So let's say I want to do a shape like this. Right? Because I always use 6 sides on my picture. So let's say I really wanted to squeeze this guy's head. Okay, so I'm going to really make it super wide like this. Okay? Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put his eyes up here, right? I'm going to put his nose right here. I'm going to put his mouth right here. Okay? So here we go. We're going to go with his eyebrows. His eyebrows are going to be literally off of his head because it's just the way that's the top. His head is going to be literally up there by his hair. So to give you an idea of what I'm talking about, I'm going to put my eyes here. Watch these little eyes, right? Okay, and then I'm going to give him some hair that does like this. Okay. Then I'm going to come to the side here. I might add some ear shapes here. Let's add a little neck onto him like this. Okay. All right. Now, let's add a nose shape. Watch. Okay. And then let's add the mouth shape. So remember, this is the mouth down here. But now because of this line, I should have left it would have been a good decision knowing what I was going to do. But this is the line. So my mouth, right, is going to drop from here. It's going to go into this little, let me do what I did again. It's going to drop from here. It's going to go into this little arrow. And then the arrow is going to be like this. Okay. So you can see here that what I did was I squished him into a little cartoon like this one, right? So you see how you can it's not about you trying to copy this because once you put your head shape down, everything now must obey the head shape you draw. And because this shape and this shape are technically different, things are going to fit differently. You know what I mean? So that might be another way. All right, let's see what other way. I can't think of another way. Maybe we can do a let me see. Let me see. Only thing I can think of now is just literally. I mean, there's other ways we can do it. All we have to do is just kind of go here, and this will give me like more ways to exaggerate. right? So I can change expressions on him, right? Or as long as I have the general spacing of his face, right? So if I go over here, let me just move over just a little bit. Okay. If I just move over a little bit, hold on one second. Oh, what you got? Oh, I'm sorry, guys. Hold on. Okay. So if I come over here, I can take the same shape. Okay, draw my ears on there. Eyebrows, right? Hair shapes, right? I can keep his nose in there. I can keep the mouth in there. Like this. And the same guy. But in this picture here, right, he might be like this. Look. See that picture right there? Hold up, let me do this. Oh, what you got, guys? All right, so look at that guy right there. Or no, let's make him into this guy. I don't know. Make him funny. Watch. Okay. You see, so this is the same guy, right? But this guy just got hit by a car, right? He got hit by a car. This guy just came out of the bar. He's a little tipsy, right? Coming out of the bar with his drink. You see? He's a little tipsy. Right? You know he done got toe up because his eyebrows is up there by the top of his head. So anytime you got your eyebrows way up here like that, that means you toe up. You don't even know. You can't even see nothing. So he can't see nothing, right? This is this is him before the bar, right? And this is him after the bar. Right? Yeah. So that's what happened. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes this is what happens when you go to the bar too much at night. Okay, so you guys get it. So let's let's go ahead and continue forward with creating interesting characters. What you can do with your caricatures, all that good stuff like that. So let's discard that, and we'll go back and find some more pictures here that we can use. All right. So we have this young lady. Let's use this lady. I don't know who has strong facial features here. This is one that let me see. I want to do one that's real easy. What about this one? This one right here is one of mine. I've drawn her a lot of times, but it's alright. But this one's the one we're going to use right here. Okay, the one with her head kind of like this here. All right. So let's put this one aside, and we'll go ahead and jump in. So again, let's look at my face shape. If sometimes I might not go with a head shape first, sometimes I will, but most of the time I like to go with a head shape because it's just so much easier. So her head shape is also, I would want to focus more on length, on width than length. In other words, when I draw my shape of my head is generally this, in some shape, form, or fashion. And I just move this around based off of like top and bottom proportions of my head. You get what I mean? So this one right here, for instance, I'm gonna just widen this up. Okay, this is the little line here, and then I'll just bring this down 1, 2, 3. Gives me a pretty good shape to mount my ears to. So I'm always generalizing. Okay, and these are like wedges. The hair, little wedges that just fit around the head. That's all they are, right? Okay. She might have a little piece of hair coming out over here, right? All right. Now we can do what can we do with this picture, right? Let's look at her features, okay? We could do what would be something that would be interesting. Well, I would notice. I'm noticing. Wow, she has something about her eyes. I don't know what I want to exaggerate here on this one. Today, I just don't know. I've drawn this all the times, but I just don't know what I want to exaggerate. All right, but let me see. Maybe I can do. I think I'm gonna go with the eye shapes, okay? But I also want to keep everything in the center of the face. I don't want shapes that are too big because she has a lot of dead space. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna move all the features into the middle of the face. I'm gonna tighten them up a little bit. I'm gonna make the eyes a little bit big and round, but they're gonna be kind of next to each other. You see? That's how I would exaggerate her. Then that would leave me space to make her nose look like more full, right, in relation. And then this drop into this little arrow makes more sense. And you can see here I got plenty of space for her chin. So her eyes are literally, if I take these right here, she has that dead stare, right? I don't want to put my eyes at the top of this circle because it's going to look like she's looking at the sky. So with this particular situation, what I would do is I'll go ahead and split the circles in half with eyelashes. And then I would add my eyeballs in there. You see? So I thought about the overall size I want the eye to be, representative of a big ball, okay? And then I used the big ball and actually drew the rest of the eye based off of that, even though it was kind of a lie in the first place, right? This is not really how you hold, but in cartoon where everybody has circle eyes, this is why you can choose whatever kind of style you want. So let's say we go here. Now we're going to go down here and we're going to try a different style. Okay. So let's see here, different style. Again, this is something where I will concentrate on width. So I might go even wider on the forehead, where it's something like that. Okay. So now we can see her ears coming off here. This is a little bit wider, and so it seems a little bit more animated. You get what I'm saying? Something like this. Okay? And then you have your little part that's coming out over here. So now her little thing is on the other side. All right, so let me see here. Let's put some features in here. So with this one, what I'll do, I'm still going to go with the same concept almost. I don't think I can. All right, so I'm gonna go with a V configuration here. Let me see if I can. What would that look like? So I'm gonna put a little bit more space between the features, not that much, but a little bit more. Okay. Then I'm gonna draw some. Ovals instead of circles. I'm gonna keep the same nose situation. I'm gonna make it a little bit bigger, right? And then I'm gonna drop from here down, and I'm gonna have her mouth way down here, like this. So now she doesn't really have a lot of chin. I'm gonna split this shape in half here, and then I'll give her little sleepy eyes and some eyelashes. Okay. So this is her before her nose job, right? Okay. Remember, I think that some caricaturists don't understand this, but one of the things that you want to do is your drawing needs to translate. It needs to translate from a distance. What does a person look like from far away? I think sometimes you don't understand that. So what if you can't see things far away, you don't need to draw them. For instance, you can't see people's nostrils far away from them. So why are you drawing nostrils for when you can just draw a shape and shadow in the bottom to insinuate there's some darkness under there? You don't have to put nostrils on the nose. It's just because when you are looking at a person from far away, their eye shape doesn't translate. The only thing you see is the relationship between the features and what expression they make. That's the only thing you're seeing. You're seeing this from far away. This is what you see from far away, right? Close up, you start seeing more details, okay? But when you're far away, But that's what makes a best cartoon, because then you don't draw unnecessary lines to be able to do this type of drawing. You get what I'm saying? So it becomes real easy at that point to say, you know what, these people can be anybody. So I might, let's say somebody sit down in front of me and I say, well, what kind of theme they want? They look like a heavy metal guy, right? So I might go, I might look over here and say, well, what the heck would a heavy metal guy look like, right? So maybe I might go here, right? So then I'll do like this, watch. So heavy metal, this is the first guy, boom. Wait, my bad. Okay, watch. All I have to do is do something that looks like this. I can change what it looks like, right, by adding the correct nose shape. So let's say this person has a, one of those big ring. He's a heavy metal guy. So we're gonna do like this, and then we know this is gonna be the bottom of his nose. So I'm gonna do like this and add these little balls on there, right? Because he's a heavy metal guy. You know what I'm saying? And then out of there, I can add these little things like this, right? And then I can add the little mouth behind there. This is the general shape of the eye. So now I don't have to make them just like that. I can put eyeballs in there if I want. That's just the shape of the eye. You get what I'm saying? And I can put eyeballs. And then I just do like this. Now all I have to do is just add like what I want to do. Let's say this guy has a really strong brow line, and a really chiseled face, but then he has sideburns that do like this because he's a heavy metal guy. You get what I'm saying? So you're just constantly just thinking about what you're doing, as you do. Now we come up here to the top and we might add his, let's say he got some, he's a heavy metal guy. So let's say what he has on here are some shades, or some goggles actually, right? And then his hair just kind of does like this, right? You see? And he got an ear shape here, okay? Maybe he got like another nose ring here. It's got like a big gauge over here, right? Because he's a heavy metal guy. You get what I'm saying? You get what I mean? So I use this. I really only pay, to be honest with you, the only thing that really translates from a distance is your nose. And really it's the relationship of the relationships of things to things. You get what I'm saying? So, this guy, this could be the same dude, right? If I do like this, right? So maybe when he first got on stage, he was doing this. Now he's on stage, right? Right? And he's not doing that no more. He's kind of sleeping, right? Still got his eyebrow. He's looking at, or maybe it's his, you know what I mean? Maybe it's his twin brother. I don't know. I mean, you know what I'm saying? But it's just a guy. He got his thing right here, right? And you come back over here again, right? And then we got our goggles going this way now, right? Hair going that way, right? So now we got a guy that's sleeping, right? While he's supposed to be in concert, right? That's his mouth, right? Okay. And so you can see here, you can do all kind of like crazy cool exaggerations, different styles and stuff, man. All you have to do is just keep it simple in your head. Pay attention to those relationships. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna practice now. Then with I'm gonna sharpen my pencil real quick. Looks like I'm running out of lead here. Okay, just about, guys. All right, so now I'm just going to take some of these emojis. Hey, what's going on, myself? Our ebook will be released this year. we're just about done with the video part of it because it has videos in relation to the ebook. But we'll let you guys know as soon as that book is out of myself. Okay? So I'm gonna make sure I get that info. I'm gonna do a big announcement about it. It's gonna be done this year. I already finished it. Thank you, ChatGPT. No, it wasn't for helping me organize my thoughts. Right? Okay. Let me see. So let's go over here and keep messing around with this. Okay, so I'm just going to create some different pictures here. Again, using these things. This is my practice. I don't need to draw a person that what they look like. You know, we do some people at first, but we don't need that to practice this. We just need to know, okay, if this is our center line, this is our eye line, this is where our nose ends. So nose end, eye line, mouth, start. Okay? And this is going to be space. That's all you have to remember. So when you draw a picture, 1, 2, all right, 3, watch. I can change these up. So if I come over here, I pick this first guy. All right, I draw some circles however I want toward the center line, right? I'm using this guy over here. Okay, I don't know if y'all can see that. Let me move over here. Hold on, guys. I need to move over some because I think, oh, wait a minute. I don't have to move. I'm tripping. I can keep this here and just do like this. Okay. There we go. You guys should be able to see that pretty good on YouTube, right? Okay. Yeah, man, awesome. All right. So we have right on Ace. I can't even say that. That's a cool name, though. All right. Okay. So again, you got your eye line, your nose line, your space. So you got your eye line here. We're drawing this guy. We're going to do something like this, right? Okay. And then we figure out what the nose shape of our person is. What is that nose shape? This is insinuating they have a long nose shape. This is insinuating that they have a small space between their mouth. And then this is, if this is the start of the mouth, that means that I have to start, go down, and then come back up to it. You get what I'm saying? That would be the smile. So now I have a smile and a place to put my mustache. And if they have lips, I have a place to put those as well. You get what I'm saying? And then I add a head shape around it. Okay? Whatever that head shape is. You get what I'm saying? So this is how you build a character. Right? So over here, we'll build another character. Okay? 1. Okay? Eyes. Nose. Space. And mouth. Okay? I'm going to use this guy. Eyes. Nose. We can even draw it just like this. We can do it just like they got it in the picture. Eyes. I just made up a nose. Right? And some eyebrows to go over the top. Space. Okay? Going into the mouth. Okay? You see what I'm saying? And head shape. Shorter head shape up top normally. When you go this big at the bottom like this, generally you're going to have a shorter shape up here. When you have long here. Okay? All right. So that's another option. Let's go with another option. Let's go with center line. This is how tall the head's going to be. All right. Let's put our shape. Let's put our eyes down. Let's put our eye line here. Our nose line. Our space. Something like a baby. So now if I draw this one. All right. This is where that line is right here. So I'm just going to draw this on this line here. Right? This right here. And then I'll put a little nose, right? And this is the start, right? So this is going to be the top of the lips, bottom of the lips, right? So now I don't have but a little bit of space down here. and I have a lot of space up here. So now I got a big forehead that needs to be covered up. Right? And you got your eyebrows. So you see how this tends to look like a much younger person. So you see different, if you understand how to move these lines around, the lines move around for, well, many reasons, but most of the reasons are to establish your your um your individual look and your individual age. Okay? So generally with people that have less age, you're going to notice that their eye lines are not as high up as people that when they get older. As you get older, your eye line moves up and your hairline seems to move back. Or maybe it's because you have hair loss that it seems that way, but but you get what I'm saying, right? It's it's like that, okay? So let's continue on, guys. How much time we got here? Now, also, if you would like, guys, I do have a section here where you guys can send your work in. So if you guys have been drawing along with me this whole time and you'd like to send some of your work in, you can send your work in. I'm just going to go ahead and put it right here, Arousal World. You're already here. So just send it to Facebook, okay? Facebook or Instagram. Also, tips are appreciated. You can tip at Cash App. Also, all of it's under Rouser World. Okay, so help, guys. Thank you. Help us meet our goal. We'd like to do this full time. This is what we're doing. Me and my wife are art teachers, and we like to teach art. And this is what I want to do for a living. This is what I'm doing for a living. You know, God's been blessing me with a steady influx of students. You know, it's not like a whole bunch, but it's like I'm getting them at the right time, and it's very fun to be able to meet different people and talk about different things. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to meeting you. So that's a good way to sow into the community. Also, guys, if you haven't checked out our Patreon page, go over to patreon.com and look up Rouser World. So it's Rouser World. All right, patreon.com/Rouser World. This is our Patreon page, and this is where we put some kind of behind-the-scenes stuff. So if you guys want to see what it's like to be a 52-year-old dad to 3 kids, young kids, and be an artist and an art teacher and have to go to work and be the only one working up in here, then come check out my Patreon page. You'll see me cry. You'll see me laugh. You'll see all sorts of emotions that I have, right? Okay. All right, so let's keep going, guys, with this practice. I think this is going great. We just want to keep this simple and light. Okay. After every stream, too, guys, I just wanted to let you know that I do a word of the day, so we're going to share that word of the day with you as well. All right, so again, here we go, guys. Shapes and center lines. All right, whatever your shape is, center lines, right? Whatever your head shape is, and center line, right? Eye line, eye line, eye line, eye line, nose line. If your shape is going down, your nose line, if your person is looking down, your nose line needs to curve like this. Curve, curve. This one can curve up because he's looking upward, right? So I curve my shape up. You get what I'm saying? So this helps you to put the head in different positions if you want to draw caricatures looking up or down, right? And then when you draw, if you use balls for your eyes instead of trying to draw these perfect shapes, you can draw anybody's caricature, right? Let me show you something. Watch this. Let's go. So this is what we can do, right? We're gonna this is what we do. We go here and we create all these different kinds. Let's use let's use the same features on different people. Okay, look, but in different ways. Okay, and then I'm gonna go with the mouth here. Okay, then I'm gonna go put it here. All right, and then I'm gonna go with it here. Right, this will be his nose, nostrils. You see, so my person is looking in all different directions because I understand where these. No matter what, I know where my lines are. So sometimes you get confused when the head moves in different directions, but this will give your caricature more life. If you don't do this in your picture, your drawings, I guarantee you draw those characters like where people just sit, everybody looks like this, right? Just think if you walked into a if you walked into a look, if you walk into a saloon and you see people look like this, right? That's not. It's nothing fun. It's nothing creative about this. It's just that what this drawing normally these type of drawings are because you're not building your face on the foundation of what this person's face is communicating. You're scared to jump out there, so you want to maintain the status quo. So the status quo is to give you two eyes, a mouth, and a nose, and um, make you, and then you start thinking about how beautiful the person needs to be and all that kind of stuff. This nonsense that happens in our head when we get into our own egos. And I'm just going to tell you, I'm preaching at the choir because this is me. I'm describing me. I ain't talking about nobody on here today. Sometimes I do that. You know what I'm saying? So that these classes have actually helped me to teach. When I'm teaching others taught me that I needed to stop like being so hypercritical of everything because my life I was a hyper critical person. Let me see. Another word might be detailed, right? Or you get what I'm saying? Or what they call that thing? OCD, right? Okay, these type of people generally have a very hard time understanding caricature because you can't be OCD, you can't be super detailed, and you can't be hypercritical when you draw caricatures, right? So these are three things that just bad, absolutely will not work when you draw a caricature because all your cartoons will look like this. Everything will look just like that. All start to look the same. So you gotta loosen up a little bit. Let your shoulders down. Breathe a little bit. Take your hair out of that bun. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Loosen up your glutes. Sit down straight. Yeah. Okay. Let me see here. Hey. All right. Let's see here. Okay. So none of that stuff works here. You got to be real loose in your interpretations and real simple. You got to always be thinking, man, no matter what shape this person head look like, I'm just gonna keep it as whatever as a shape. Shapes are much easier to control. A basic shape is more easy to control than whatever you can come up with out of your head. It's easier to have a concrete starting point when you do something. So I keep it simple. What shape is it that I'm looking at? A block? Is it an oval? Is it a bean shape, right? Is it a chicken bone? I don't know. You get what I'm saying? What am I looking at when I look at this person's face overall? And then all I do is just, again, I plug in the same concept. Once I got the face, head shape, then I'll say, I'll look at the general relationship of their features, and I'm like, oh, their eyes are close together, right? And they're goofy, right? This is their nose. Their nose is really long, right? You see? And then this is that other line right here. Remember, all the lines wrapped, or they go down like, and I'll show you this in a minute, but they go down when you from a source around the shape. They wrap around the shape. It's not flat. And then we come back and we do a line drop, right? The line drop has to be, it's going to be here. And then it's going to go right into the middle of where the mouth is. So the middle of the mouth is here. So you'll see here that when I extend it out, by me being armed with that information, you get what I'm saying? I can create like really cool looking cartoons of people. You get what I'm saying? But you got to keep that basic shape in mind. Okay, over here, we'll just change up the relationships, right? Maybe we got this person, this guy here. All right, and maybe this is him right here. So I'll just go ahead and put the fingers, right? Right? Okay, and then here we can just put the mouth. And because we know everything that we need to know, we can do it any way we want to. The line drop, then I can go here, go to the eyes, right? There's his eyes right there. And then you got this, right? Got your little head shape, right? You see? And this might be, I don't know. Okay, this might be Uncle Marty at the film festival. I don't know. It could be, right? Okay. So guys, let's take a quick intermission for station identification. Again, guys, if you want to take classes with me, I do online classes. So I'd like to meet you. Take a class with me. Check it out. All right? RazzleWorld.com/classes. And then we have our tipping information. And if you want to share your artwork with me today, send it in at RazzleWorld, Facebook or Instagram. And then we do tips at Cash App. You can tip at RazzleWorld. We have also our Patreon page too, if you want to support our mission to be full-time art teachers, to continue to create content like this. If it's helping you, you want to sew into that, you can go to Patreon, check out one of our tiers. Most people they easily sign up for the free tier, but $5 a month is not really that much for a tier, and then it goes to help. But the free tiers, while they are beneficial as far as followers are concerned, they don't help us toward our ultimate goals. So if you really want to sew into it, we just ask that you guys sign up for at least a $5 tier. It'll help us, our ministry out. We like to do outreach and stuff like that, and so it costs time and energy to do these type of things. If that's something that you want to sew into, then by all means go over there and check it out. Check out our page, our whole YouTube channel. If this is your first time visiting us, you can go back and look at my channel and you can see what kind of person I am and like what I'm asking, and what we're doing. So I think those will speak for themselves. So let's go ahead and get back into it, guys. We're going to draw some faces here. We're going to draw about 3 or 4 faces. And then we're going to, after that, we're going to start getting into our word of the day. And then after our word of the day, we're going to get you guys out of here. I'm not going to make the stream very long for you today, okay? So here I have a bunch of different faces again. I don't know which one I want to use. But this one right here, she kind of looks like, I don't know, right? But the first thing, definitely with this one right here, just a person that doesn't look happy to me. So if I was just drawing this person like they were, I don't have to think about how to draw somebody angry. All I have to do is just do this. That's her face. Now, what really makes her look like her? Well, the expression combined with this. See the basic shape? Now let's trim the edges off of the basic shape. Okay, and then let's add some eyelashes. Now let's add some hair. And maybe she's a mad nurse. I don't know. It's the part that goes on the what's the name, right? You see? So when I'm thinking about the face like this, nobody has to sit still for me to draw them, and that was one of the things that sucked the most about caricatures. Sometimes when you get people that don't want to sit still, and so I was just like, how do I get around that? And then when I figured this out, I was like, holy smokes, no more am I ever going to work hard again, ever. Yeah, I'm not working hard no more. I'm going to hardly work. Get what I'm saying? Look at that. That look just like her, right? She like, you know what I'm saying? All her friends going to recognize her. Yep, that's Sue. Always ran that face, right? You know what I'm saying? And then you got, let me see. Now we already did that guy. We did her. Okay, so this is she kind of gives me, she's not like, she looks unhappy in that one, but in this one, not so. But I could still make her happy if I want. I could just draw somebody that would be happy, but I'm just going to use thick eyebrows. I'm gonna use small features. I'm gonna use little eyes that are close together like this. Little eyes, okay? Because her eyes are, in general, very little. Her nose is big and round, but that's all we. And then she has a drop, and then she has this little smile here. I mean, something like that, right? And then all it is this shape here. Watch. 1, 2, 3, right? 4, 5, 6. Now let's add some hair. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Now I could have made it more like I could have gave her more down here by adding another dimension to the shape like that. I just decided not to. I could, but it's not important. It doesn't matter, I think, to the way she looks. In fact, I think this might make her look cooler, right? And then you just put your little, right? And everybody's going to recognize her because of her strong eyebrows versus her nose versus the little eyes, right? So what if we don't have one of the details that kind of actually magnifies her face, right? It's a manifestation. Oh, did I just say that? A manifestation, right? yeah, because it magnifies the face, right? So I'll leave those out right there. Okay, there we go. All right, so we got 2 more pictures left to do, and then we're gonna go ahead and start wrapping this thing up. All right, let me see here. Who we got? Oh, look at that picture. Okay, so what can we do with that? Let's see here. All right. Well, the first thing I'm noticing about her, definitely her eyes and eyebrows or something right there. I can work around that. Everything else I can get away with just whatever I do, right? So, for instance, if I wanted to start with the inside out, I might, for her face, watch this. I could do this, right? I can do this right here. Look, watch. Because this is what her face looks like. I'm playing with her eyes and eyebrows, right? And then look, I could do this. I could do this right here. Let's split them in half. Okay, And I'm just playing around like I'm in kindergarten. I don't care. I'm not sitting here trying to impress you or nothing. I'm just being like I'm in kindergarten. And I'm just drawing pictures. Okay. And what would I do here? I don't know. Let me see. I draw something small here because I don't want it to compete with the eyes. And I might do something like this. Right? And then, I don't know. And then do like that. Right? And then I might come over here and do something like this. 1, 2, 3. Right? 4, 5, 6. Put some darks right here. Right? Some little ears here. Right? Let's put some hair on this guy, this lady here. And do something like this. Right? Something like that. Right? Right? And then we'll color these in. Okay. Let me see. Then we will. Let me just make this darker. Right? Just playing around. Let's just play around with it. Okay. And you got a neck. Right? Okay. So here is a picture where my exaggeration was in the eyes. This right here was a little bit of a deep stretch, but you get what I'm saying. But you get what I mean when I say this. You got a little bun right here, maybe in the back or something. Right? You don't have to get too technical about this. This is really picking your exaggeration and then doing what kind of makes sense. So what I want to do here, what I did was I kind of tapered everything. So if I have big eyes, I can't have a big nose and a big mouth. I gotta choose what I want. You don't just go around and just draw everything. Hey, what's going on, David? What's up? How you doing today? Welcome to the Saturday stream. I'm just messing around with some emojis, hanging out, right? Yeah. Okay. Man. Okay. Let's see here. And then I just got 2 different pages of mine. I like these ones here too. These are pretty cool to use. Right? But, again, we're just messing around with faces, seeing what we can do with the emojis. Okay, so we got like one more face here. I think this is one I always use in my class, so I'm going to use that one. Okay. What can I do with this face right here? Well, I could go with, if I want to, what do I want to make my exaggeration at? That's the whole thing. Maybe with this one, if I want it to be the mouth, then what I would do is I'll figure out what my nose shape is and my drop, how it's going to be. So this one's going to be like a curve. Boom. And then my V is going to be literally in the front of the curve. You get what I'm saying? So it's going up, and then it's going up like this, right? Oh, wow, that's interesting. So it's going up and then over. That makes a lot of sense. Oh, okay. But either way, this would be my exaggeration. Okay. So now, this is what I drew first, right? So I got her mouth on the page with these teeth. They just kind of protrude out the front, right? And then you have your nose shape. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shorten this shape here. And then I'm going to use some shapes. I don't have to use circles here. I'm going to use ovals. So I'm going to use some ovals because they give me a little bit more longness than a circle. And then I'll add my eyelashes onto this oval because I want her eyes to be a little bit longer, not so whimsical. Right? And then you got your eyes. That's going to go in here like that. Right? See? And then you got your eyebrows gonna do like this. So you see what I did was now I'm playing the energy this way. All the energy in my face is going that way, right? So now I'm not gonna make her face wide like that. What I would do in this situation, there's two options. I could make her face big enough to fit all this in here, but you see how distasteful that would look? If when I did that, you were like, oh, right? You cringed at the thought of it all, right? It's not any fun at all, huh? Right on, David. Jay, so because I don't want to do that, then I might come back and go with, let's see if I go with something a little bit more pointed. Okay, now that's a lot more tasteful. You get what I'm saying? A lot more tasteful. So what I'm gonna do is go with something pointed, right? That points toward here. See how the mouth just kind of went above this shape here, right? Okay, and then I could come back and put my ear shape here, right? And then her forehead is very like back and round. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna go around her, around the brow line and back, but I'm gonna keep this shape short. And you want to do that because you have so much mass here, right? That I had to take away from up here. Got to take away here. So if I add here, to add here is to subtract from the other side of this line. You get what I'm saying? You can't have both sides of the line. So then from there, I just kind of come around and bring my hair back into my shape, right? And then I just draw shapes around, draw wedgies going around the head. And then I draw now I don't want this super big bun shape either, because the bun shape, if I draw it too big, it's going to compete with what I did down here. You get what I'm saying? So you have to be thinking about what's going to happen when you do certain things, right? So this might be my middle of my shape, right? This might be the side, and then this might be the other side. You get what I'm saying? So this is just one way, and again, there's so many ways for you to exaggerate a face that it ain't even funny how many ways there are. But ultimately, whichever way you decide is going to be really up to you, okay? You just have to, when you do it, you just be comfortable in what you're doing, and you'll be fine, okay? All right, so real quick, guys, what I'm going to do then is we're going to start getting ready here to do a word of the day. I hope that you guys were able to really learn something today about being a hypercritical person, overcritical, OCD, right? Type of a person, right? Okay, so hold on a sec, guys. I just want to go here and hold on one sec. Okay, one sec, friends. Let me see. I'm looking up something. Okay, let me see. Let's go. Yeah, give me a second. I know I type like an old hen. All right, let me see. Okay. Okay. Okay, so guys, just give me just a sec here. We're going to go over here to, I'm trying to figure out how to put this other, I think this is it right here. And then I'm going to stop that music real quick. And then I'm going to go over here. Just give me a sec. I'm almost there, guys. And then I'm going to go here. All right, so we're going to change up the flow just a little bit. Okay, we're going to go ahead and get out our Bibles real quick. We're going to do a little bit of Bible study today, okay? All right, guys, so at the end of everything, at the end of all the days and the hard life and everything that we have going on in our lives, man, a lot of times we go through things and we don't have a way to process all this stuff, you know. The other day I was blessed to talk with somebody that was telling me about how we were talking about like men and the roles of men and all these things, and obviously because I'm a man, I do want to know how to be a stronger man, a man that's more in control of his thoughts and his feelings and in control of this hypercritical stuff and this over detailed stuff. You know, I want to be in control of those things, but sometimes, you know, we need that push, we need that teacher, we need somebody that's going to motivate us to step out there and look beyond ourselves into the potential of what we can, what we can grow into, okay? So that's why we do this word of the day. We do the word of the day because I don't want you to just come here and learn to draw. I want you to come here and learn how to and to be motivated to be the higher level of yourself. Okay? Because if I can motivate you to be the highest level of you, you know what I mean? Then the sky is going to be the limit. There's so many parts to you and so much dimension to you that that you don't know about. And so my job and our jobs as people are to help others to discover the highest, version of themselves. So that's what we're going to be doing today. So today, our word of the day is going to deal with what we talked about earlier, okay? And our earlier thing was about hypercritical, detailed, obsessive compulsive disorder. A person that, someone that can't see life for its basics, right? Because we're so focused on things that don't matter. In other words, life is really a basic shape, like a face, right? And these shapes are not easy, not hard to draw. None of them are, right? None of these shapes are hard to draw because they are basic, okay? These are what you need to know, right? You need to know these to be able to draw, okay? But this is life. But somewhere in our life, right? If someone in our lives, whether that be mom or dad, a grandmother or a sister or a brother, a friend or whoever that is, if someone in our life or something in our life doesn't come in our path to teach us that all drawing is this being put together to make things. Let me give you an example. Okay, watch. All we're doing is we're putting things together to make other things. Why we make this so complicated, I don't know. Because it's really not about anything other than what I'm showing you today. You can do amazing things with basic things. But the more complicated you try to make it, the less others even notice what you did. I find the more basic I get, the more in awe people are when I'm drawing at work. They think that I did a magic trick or something like that. But there's no magic trick. God touched my heart one day. Many years ago, I gave my life to Christ. And what he did was, he said, Harry, you're being hypercritical. You're being too detailed, and you're being too OCD. And at the end of the day, you know why? It was all one word that summed everything up right here. And you'll know this kind of a person. And I'm going to say this today with all the love in my heart. Okay? You know how I say you can identify a person by their face expression? You can identify this person by one behavior. You're easily offended. As soon as somebody says anything about anything, you begin to you argue, you take it personally. You can't talk about a topic without it becoming personal to you, no matter what the topic is. And therefore, we can't get to a resolution about this because you keep wanting to talk about the subject as it relates to you versus as how the subject actually works, the science of it. So, I want to share a few scriptures with you today to help you. Okay? With the easily offended heart. The heart that takes everything personally. Why would this happen to somebody? At the end of the day, when you know who you are, when you know where you're going, you get a confidence about yourself. That's just all to it. So then, I don't know, deduction would say you don't know who you are and you don't know where you're going. So you're upset really internally at yourself, but you project that onto other people. You know what I'm saying? And that's what this is. Hypercritical, easily offended behavior. So first thing I'm going to tell you about this overthink, I'm going to share 3 things with you. Okay? I'm going to share 3 things with you, and you guys excuse my kids. My kids are in the background having breakfast, and they don't care that I'm doing a live stream. Right? They're just 1 year old and 4. So we're going to go ahead back into this. But anyway, let's go ahead and go into the first one, okay? So we're going to do this just like a class. The first thing that we can do, what can we do to help ourselves out of this and understand? We're going to give you some things, some thinking exercises. Number 1, overthinking steals peace. Okay? If you want to be at peace, this is your brain, right? Your brain, when your brain looks like this, okay? Because it's not a lot of question marks in here. Then you got this brain over here, that's over here, looking over here. But he's very sad, okay? Because everything is a question with this guy. But why? Why does it work that way? Why this? Why that? And this is the brain that trusts in God. This is the mind, the soul, the spirit that trusts God. So overthinking is going to steal your peace. Okay? If we go to the book of Isaiah, we're going to go over there just real quick. Okay? And if we go to Isaiah 26, we're going to go there real quick. Let's see what that says here. Okay? And then we're going to go to Isaiah 26 and 3. And it says here, you will keep your perfect peace, all who trust in you, all whose thoughts are fixed on you. Okay? You'll be able to smile even when there's a storm outside and it's thundering and lightning and wind is blowing and all hell is breaking loose around you. You still will be able to be happy and to have that perfect peace. Okay? Trust in the Lord always, it says, for the Lord God is the eternal rock. It says he humbles the proud and brings down the arrogant city. Listen to this. This brain is meditating on this. This brain is not. This brain knows. He listens to the word. And he's saying he humbles the proud. That means this brain is not worried about who's stealing what in the government or who's doing this. You can tell a sheep or a person by the fruit they bear. It says, and brings down arrogant cities. He's not worried about this why is this person getting this behavior in the world and I'm not getting it, and they seem to be arrogant or whatever. He brings down the person, you get what I'm saying, who they think they are. Who a person thinks they are, he brings that down. But this person doesn't think, he thinks he's nobody. The only thing he thinks is I have purpose in God. He said he brings it down to the dust. It says the poor and the oppressed trample it underfoot, and the needy walk right over it, right? Okay, so we're going to, God changes situations. He makes it what the enemy took for evil, he makes into good. If you want to have that peace, if you don't want your peace to be stolen, we have to read the word and meditate on it. When we overthink, it says we shift our focus from God's promises to our promises. God gives us peace, guys, when we trust. He gives us peace when we trust. And we don't overanalyze things. So we need to let peace lead and not the pressure of the situation. Okay, so that's one thing. Now the next thing is here is what overthinking does. Is it paralyzes action. What does that mean? That means that you stand there like a deer in headlights. When you overthink, you get nothing done. Wow. Boom. I have so much to do, and then you get nothing done. Overthinking does that to you. Okay? I can remember when I took off writing this book for Rouse the World. We were writing our first caricature book. And part of what took me so long to get the book started in the first place was this idea of knowing everything that's going to be in this book at the beginning, like seeing it as this, instead of seeing it as chapter by chapter or page by page, and each page and each chapter being accomplishments within their own right. And then I because I couldn't see it like that, because I was overwhelmed by the end product, because I was overwhelmed by how much I was going to sell it for, right? Because I was overwhelmed by who's going to like it and who's not going to like it, and how much information and how I need to appear and it says here, the arrogant city. I was so overwhelmed by who I thought I was and how people were going to perceive me and how smart I was going to be perceived. I was overwhelmed, so I got paralyzed and I did nothing. I did nothing. I just stood there like a deer in headlights. So if you find yourself overthinking and your peace is not there, and you find yourself paralyzed because now there's so many variables in the situation, right? Okay, because it's one thing when 1 + 1 = 2, right? But the more you start adding numbers, 1 + 2 + 80 + 19 + 736, you get what I'm saying? It gets exponentially harder to add these things together in your mind. Eventually you're going to need a calculator, unless you're like one of the only people on the planet that could do something like that. But this is not the plight of most people. Most people get their mind locks up. It goes, just think about it, when you got too many numbers in your head, you try to multiply them or divide them, whatever, eventually you get to a point where you say, wait a minute, let me get a calculator, because my brain can't handle this. But in a stress situation, in a life situation, we don't have a calculator to run to. The calculator is God. Do you understand? The calculator is God. Now you say, my mind can't handle this. Wait a minute. Let me enter this information in to the calculator of God. Let's enter it in. Give him all the variables, all the numbers. Let him add these numbers up, because my brain can't add all these numbers up. I'm going to be here all day like with this. I ain't going to get nothing done. So we give it to God, and we allow, when we put that input in, it comes back with an answer. And then normally when we get an answer from a calculator, we write that number down with confidence. The answer is 35,376, you know what I'm saying? Right? 0.0412. You get what I'm saying? Whatever that is. But we say it with confidence. So the same thing is when God come back with the answer, we need to write that or do that or act in that way just as confidently as we would place our confidence in that number from that calculator that we know is right and true. Okay? And then there's the last thing that we're going to do. We're going to talk about. The last point is overthinking. What else does it do? Point 3 blocks faith. Okay? Oh, wait, and back up. Let's go back 1 second here. Okay? Before we go into that, I just wanted to put on here, and it's something that I have wrote down, that it says sometimes we are waiting for 100% clarity before we move, but faith often starts with 60% clarity and 100% trust, right? So you're going to have less clarity than trust. You get what I'm saying? And 100% trust. You're going to have less clarity and more trust. That's what faith is. And overthinking just kind of keeps us stuck. And trust will help us to move forward. Trust will help us to walk across that tightrope. Again, that third thing is it blocks faith. It says now, faith is the substance of things of hope, of things hoped for, and the evidence of things not seen. Okay? So that's in Hebrews. If you guys have never read that book of Hebrews 11:1, that's a really good book for you guys to check out in the Bible, right? And if you don't like to read that much, just go. They have all kind of apps now that'll just read it to you. You know what I'm saying? Because faith come by hearing the word of God. It didn't say faith come by reading it. Faith come by hearing it, right? That's what it says. So, go in there and hear the word of God. But it blocks faith, okay? It says faith isn't what we figured out. Is what we believe God for. Faith isn't what we have figured out. Listen, faith is not what I got an idea, I figured it out, it's going to work. No, faith is not that. Faith is understanding that you don't have control over your life, and God has ultimate control over everything. And it's not, and that's the bottom line. That's it. It says you don't have to have all the answers, and you just have to know that God does have all the answers. Again, if we go back to the calculator, we know the calculator is meant to do one thing. It's meant to add numbers together, variables, numbers, or whatever, and it's designed to come up with the correct answer. It has exponentially higher computation power than a human mind. That's why we rely on it. Computers, ChatGPT, all this stuff, exponentially more powerful than our mind could ever. We made it up, but exponentially, we're not able to process information as the computer is able to process it. We're not, and so this is what it says. Now think about this. If we made computers and God made us, right? And God made everything that we did, and everything that we designed came from us. He built us. You get what I'm saying? We built it. He is the ultimate intelligence. He is the artificial. He's not artificial. He's the real intelligence. The RI. The real intelligence is knowing and trusting and believing in God and blocking out all the things that say that you cannot and that you're not sufficient and that you're not good enough. Okay? So in finishing, guys, I want to go ahead and give you guys a closing word here. I think that's just about sums things up. I just want you guys to remember that when your mind begins to race, right? Your mind begins to race. What we got to do, guys, is we need to let God's word anchor that situation. We need to let God's word plug those variables into God. Give it to God. You can't figure it out. Your brain doesn't have that kind of computation power. You're dealing with something that's outside of your class. Remember, the scripture says, guys, that we're not fighting a flesh and blood enemy. We're fighting a spiritual enemy. We're fighting an unseen enemy. And it's hard. We don't know. How can you fight something that you can't see, that you can't understand, that you can't comprehend? And that when you see him coming, there's still nothing you can really do about it. You can only rely on yourself, overthinking, right? If you find yourself paralyzed in action, if you find yourself lacking faith, right? If that's where you find yourself, today is the day that you can come out of that. You can call on the name of the Lord. You can call on the name of God, and you can ask him to come into your heart right now, and that he can clear those things up. He can start putting those numbers together for you, right? He can start making things look complete for you. He can heal that marriage for you. He can do things for your health, right? He can touch your children. There's so many things that the word of God can do. But if we don't have faith, and if we allow paralysis to be the dictating thing for the rest of our life, how will we ever get to know what God put us here for? How will we ever have the true peace that we want when we don't know exactly what our purpose is, and we're just going around doing everything, trying to find anything that will make us get out of this state? The reason that we're miserable is because of where we're at, but we keep doing things to stay there, and by definition, that's foolishness, right? And in the Bible, it talks about that, clutching at foolishness, right? In order to be happy, and understanding that that foolishness led to nothing but the death of oneself and no progress in going forward. So guys, from today forward, let's not overthink. Let's not allow the devil to paralyze us. Let's not allow the devil to take our faith away, because when we allow the devil to take our faith away, he takes our life away, and he just straight up don't have that right. Okay? So remember, drawing is just like is this the word of God manifest. It is keep the shape basic. The basic shapes of life are all in the word of God. Take those shapes and draw things. Every day that you wake up is an art pad right by your desk, and that art, on that art pad, you get to draw what your day is going to look like. You get to draw how you're going to react to situations. You get to draw that. Nobody else gets to draw that. Only you get to draw that. Nobody else. You're in charge of that. And if you draw it according to the word of God, you're going to enter into his rest, and you're going to have that peace that overcomes and stands against anything that supersedes or goes above anything that you can ask or even understand. That is what the Word of God will do for you. Okay? So, guys, I want to thank you so much for coming out today. If you said yes today to God, guys, don't forget to send me, a message. Let me know that this message touched you today, that something's that was moved in your spirit about what you heard today, about what you saw today at the Rouse of World stream. Don't forget to share it with your friends. Don't forget to share it with your family, because God's doing a major thing in our country. He's doing a revival. He's touching the young people. He's bringing them. He's touching them. He's changing it. He's changing it for the better. Don't listen to what TikTok got to say. Don't listen to the bad thing. We're not going to be no deer in headlights no more. We know that God is working everything out for our good. In Jesus' name. Amen. Okay? All right, so I'm going to go ahead, guys, and we're going to be getting out of here. I'm just going to thank you guys again for coming out to the stream. Henla, how are you today? I see I have an interstate caricature competition on July 24th. Can you give me some tips to win these? Well, all the tips, well, a lot of tips. I think, Henna, what you have to do is go, number one, don't overthink. Number two, because when you overthink it, you're going to paralyze yourself. And number three, Henna, my advice is to have faith in yourself. Have faith in yourself. You can do it. Go back and watch some of my videos. Look at it. See what I'm saying. And just do it. And believe you can. And you'll be fine. You'll win the competition. Please send me a praise report on that too when you do. Okay. All right, guys. So y'all have a great and awesome evening. Again, if you wish to take classes with me, you can take classes with Rouser. Learn to draw caricatures. So it's rouserworld.com/classes. Also, if you guys want to send in your work for me to look at, maybe we can talk about it on the next stream. Rouser World, you can go Facebook or Instagram. If you wish to tip today because you want to sow into the Rouser World ministry and our mission to lead people closer to God through the gift of art, you can do that through Cash App. $Rouser World. That information is already here. If you really have been put on your heart to do that, you'll find a way to make your way there. Also, our Patreon page is for those that really want to show special support for us because of what we're doing. We have 3 different tiers there. We have a very inexpensive one, $5 one. I think one's like $15. And it's just like a pledge that you do once a month. And you say, hey, you know what? I want to sow into this ministry because they're doing something that others are not doing, or I believe in what they're doing. And, and that's really the first step, I think, in improving yourself. When you say that, you want to sow into somebody else, when you want to sow into something that somebody else is doing, and you're not just looking out for what you want to do. So I think, again, this has the potential to impact so many young people. So many young people come through our channel. So many parents have written me to tell me, that children were attempting suicide and things, and now because of something they heard on this channel, that they don't want to do that anymore. And you can't, and nobody can tell me that that's just powerful. That's just powerful. So I'll never stop doing this, even though I don't get the views that I want on YouTube and all that, and all the money and all the fame and all that stuff that the devil wants me to seek after. I get something much bigger. I'm going to get, my reward with God. You know what I'm saying? And right now, I believe I'm receiving all the reward that I need, and that is the peace that I carry around each day, because I know that God is working and actively working in my life. Okay. All right. So, guys, those are the information. If you guys have any questions, comments, whatever, you can reach out to me online. Also, I do private parties. I do events and commissions if you guys want to reach out to me to do something special for your family member or something like that. Okay. All right, guys. So you guys be blessed. Thank you so much for watching, and you guys have an awesome rest of your Saturday. The Rouser is leaving the building. Bye-bye, guys. All right.